Now, around our table tonight, Beverly Hallberg of District Media Group and Democratic strategist Al Motter. Great to have both of you with us.
Thank you.
And with our turkey display. So we can get a start on doing this at the turkey table. All right. A new poll out by PBS NPR asking, how do you feel about talking about politics around the table? 58% said they are dreading it. 31% said they are eager to get into it. And 11% said they're not sure. Al, how to proceed? And keep the peace, is it possible?
How about this? How about we just try to listen to each other and be respectful, and then people can talk. And
that sounds good in theory. I'm not sure that's always going to work.
Well, if it doesn't, you can always revert to your cocktails and your food.
Yes. Yeah, Beverly, I think you're the one who said carbs over conflict.
Always carbs over conflict.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you need to say something, you're concerned about what somebody else says, ask for the mashed potatoes and it solves it. Because I think what this really comes down to, I thought it was funny that Senator Schumer thinks that you should come in with some kind of flow chart of the Republican tax plan. If somebody showed up to my house with a big chart, I would probably say that they have to go to the kids' table, that we don't need a chart over Thanksgiving. I think that this should be a focus on enjoying the things, being thankful for things, and unfortunately politics can be very tricky, especially when we can't even bring up football anymore without a political discussion.
I mean, that football also gets, that can get to fighting words too. Also, okay, so GQ had this headline. They said, your civic duty, it's your civic duty to ruin Thanksgiving by bringing up Trump. The subheader on that was, consider making life hell for your relatives. Ow.
I mean, it sounds like a scene out of American Horror Story, the latest season, where all they did is cover people who are angry about losing the election who voted for Jill Stein. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? I mean, we don't need to ruin people Thanksgiving. We already had a war on Christmas, so to speak.
So let's not have one on Thanksgiving, too.
Turkey Day, too.
And I've heard a little bit of advice. I wonder what you guys think about this, is that it's better not to talk about names. Like, don't talk about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, anybody, Bill Clinton, whoever. It's better to talk about policies and ideas, Beverly.
Yeah, I would say, especially when you get into different individuals, even Trump right now, he tweets all the time. There are a lot of things that people could talk about. I think it's focusing even on the policy issues. What's an area that you can agree on? So I would even say when it comes to taxes, which Chuck Schumer thinks we should talk about at Thanksgiving, if you could focus on the fact that we want small businesses to thrive, how do we do that? Maybe you and I disagree on how we get there, but agree on some type of common ground. That can be a good place to start, and always with a proper tone. It's when you get worked up that's where it gets into a lot of issues.
And there are other issues, too, that a lot of people agree on, like terrorism. That's bad. We want to get the bad guys. I mean, that's something that should unite Americans, right? I mean, there are some other ideas that we can have positive conversations about.
Absolutely. I mean, look, with my Democratic friends and President Trump, I like to try to tell them, don't get so annoyed at all the tweets. Like, what he says doesn't matter as much as you think it does. People are wrapped up in this concept that he says all this stuff and it's disruptive and it's terrible, but that's what he is. That's who he is. So let's not worry about that. Let's have a nice meal. If we want to talk about policies, as Beverly said, let's do that. But we can do it and see a little fun in it, too. I mean, a lot of the stuff he does is kind of amusing, to be honest.
Yeah, for a lot of people, they get either you get very worked up about it or you get very upset. There's another informal survey. We don't really like to call it a poll, but this was kind of fun. Which issue is most likely to start an argument at your table? Number one on the list by a mile was the president. Surprised, Beverly?
Not surprised at all, because he tweets about most things. Yeah. And again, the football issue. I mean, people are excited to watch football on Thanksgiving. That's something he's talked a lot about. He even had a tweet yesterday about whether or not he thinks the players should be in the locker room during the national anthem. So I find it interesting. The advice is really twofold. There's either have this provocative approach where you bring up issues at the Thanksgiving table, or you do what Planned Parenthood suggested. They had a suggestion which was find a safe space when you go home. So not just college campuses anymore. You have to find a safe space when you go. Even in your house. So they said enlist in allies like other family and friends. Bring someone with you who's on your side. Or they went to this extreme, don't go at all if you feel like you may not be safe.
Beanbags for everybody, right?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, turkey, it's got the tryptophan. That knocks everybody out at some point, and enough pie, and that will keep everyone happy. So, Al and Beverly, have great Thanksgivings, both of you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for having
us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, coming up, we're